We are about to go into our last session for today. And I'm excited because we are about drawing the curtain close for today. So permit me in a moment to share my screen. Okay. All right. So today, in this last session, we will be going into the project management, all right? And the person who will be taking us on the project management session is none other than Olajumoke. Olajumoke started off her career as an administrative officer, then transitioned into IT project management with years of experience and has obtained several certifications. She also has knowledge of some ISO standards like ISO 9001, 27001, and 22301. She is currently a project manager at Panoramic Synergy Enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, can we welcome our last trainer for today, who will be taking us on the project management session, and the topic is scope management. Thank you so much, Jumeke, for joining us today. Please, you can take it off from here. Hello, Jumoke. Are you there? Hello, Jumoke. Are you still there? I think we lost her due to network. Please exercise a little patience while we get her back on the call. Thank you.
All right, good morning, Mercy. Good morning, everyone.
You are welcome, Jumoke.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You are welcome. The floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's project management class. I will share my slides and we can just dive into today's class. Please let me know when you can see my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can. Please put it on the presentation mode.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes, it is, but it's not on presentation mode.
From my end in presentation mode.
All right, please carry on.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olajumoke, and I'll be taking us through the scope management of project management today. Yeah. So the course to be the plan scope management requirements, define scope, creates can anybody mute themselves and just answer? Like when you hear scope, not even in project management, let's just assume you hear the word scope. What comes to mind? Can anyone answer? Okay. So in project management, scope basically means trying to be this going too far, just staying in a place where you've been given to work on, focusing on a certain thing to do. Like we have here, you do all the work. In project management, you don't have to, you have to be focused on certain things that you do. Like the example we have here, when you're a baker and then your clients come to meet you that they want to bake a certain kind of cake and they're giving you a design, you should follow the exact design. You shouldn't say because you feel like you will look better, you should add some other things. No, in project management, you don't do that. You just need to focus on the exact design given to you. You do even now make you seem professional if you do much more. Although it's aspects, you can do beyond what you were asked to do and you'll be applauded for it. But in project management, you just do the exact thing. That's what it entails. What was agreed upon. So
Okay, so you
scope
had some
management
answers
about
on the
planning.
in the chat room, Jumoke. Some persons answered your question in the chat room. Thank you. You can as well check that out. I think we've lost her again. Please be patient while we get her back on the call. Hello, Jumoke. If you are speaking, we can't hear you. We cannot hear you. I can see you are still on, but we cannot hear you. Can anybody hear her? If you can, please indicate in the chat room. Oh, okay. So please, we cannot hear you. If you can hear us, can you log out and then log back in?
Hello, Mercy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, but at some point we lost you.
Is misbehaving, so I'm trying to switch networks. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Please
fine. It's fine.
bear with me. I'm trying to switch network so that it doesn't repeat itself again. Okay, let me share my screen again. Or is my screen still shared?
No, no, no. You can reshare.
All right, I'll reshare. I'll reshare. All right, so sorry everyone. I'm so sorry. It was my network. So like
So
I
I
said,
see some persons, sorry, please, some persons gave answers to you in the chat room when you ask your question. So you might also pay attention to the chat room as well. Thank you.
all right, thank you, Mercy. All right, thank you. I'll just can everyone still see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen course
All right, thank
content,
you.
plan,
Yes.
and
So the course content is the plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, create WBS, which is the work breakdown structure. We also have validate scope and then control
let me cut
scope.
you. Can you kindly put it in a slide format so it will be bigger? It's a little small.
From my hand, it is. I don't know if it's the network. From my hand, it is.
All right, you can proceed.
Yes. So, what is project scope management? Project scope management is all about making sure that um everything that was said to be done is exactly what we are doing. I said earlier that is like you giving a client a cake designed to bake for you and the client is doing overboard. In project management, you should do the exact thing. You do no more and you do no less, right? And then the plan scope management. This step is about planning how you would manage the scope throughout the project. You think about writing a small guide on how to define, manage, and control project scope. You create the scope management plan, requirements management plan also. So I'll call this like the clauses that sits with project scope management overview. We have the plan scope management, which is the inputs. The inputs are, the resources, information that are used to initiate or carry out project activities. And for plan scope management, we have the project charter. The project charter is a document authorizing the project and outlining its objectives. It's also We also have the project management plan. This sits with the project managers, and then you can always use it from the beginning of the project to plan whatever needs to be done. We also have the enterprise environmental factors. These factors are factors that when you're planning a project, you need to put in consideration. Let's assume you want to build a house. When you get a land, you need to put in considerations omonile, all agberos. You need to put all of them in plans. Also, market factors. You get to the market today, they're calling a certain price for you today, then tomorrow they're switching to another price. You need to put all of these things in considerations. Organizational process assets. So each organization where project management is done, you have different organizations have how they carry out their project management. So this also needs to be considered. The way company A is going to plan projects is different from the way the other another organization will plan their projects. So this has to be in the input. Tools and technique, expert judgment. What are expert judgment? I'm explaining all of this because moving forward, we'll be seeing all of these inputs in each of the contents of the content, I mean. So I don't need to explain myself over and over again. That's why I'm taking my time to explain each of it here. So tools and technique, expert judgment. Expert judgment is people that have knowledgeable thoughts about a certain project that has been done before, so that when you're doing similar projects, you're able to get knowledge from these people. Data analysts, meetings of from the beginning the project was in plan, minutes of meetings that everyone did together, meetings of every stakeholders, every meetings you have with teams. All of these things needs to also come into tools and techniques. Outputs are the tangible or intangible deliverables produced as a result of those activities on this project. And you have your scope management plan. Scope management plan is usually a document used by the project manager to state how the whole project will go, the scope of the project. It's a plan where you have all that is required of you on that project. You also have the requirement management plan. So for collect requirements, the inputs are project charter. Project charter is a document which is authorizing the project and it's outlining the objective. I've explained that before. So all of these things, you might be seeing it all through each of the contexts, but they are the same document, but you need them at every point of these stages. We also have the project management plan. This sits with the project managers, where you plan the entire project and is clearly stated out and clearly written out. You have project documents, all the documents that will be required on that project. Business documents, like where I work as a project manager, IT, we have documents that we require from our clients when we want to start a project. These are business documents that requires us to get on a particular project. Agreements, my organization, we call it SLA, where you have agreements with your clients that this is certain things that will be done on this project. This is what we're going to do. What do you want? Is this fine by you? Then a signature is appended on that document. Enterprise environmental factors, like I said earlier, I explained that earlier. We also have organizational process assets. Tools and techniques, we have the expert judgment, data gathering, data analysis, decision making. As a project manager, some persons feel like once you're a project manager, you have the final decision to make on a project. No, you do not. You have to take everyone's input, put it together, rub minds, take decisions. If it needs us to vote, we'll take that. Everyone needs to put an input and we'll all have to agree. Yes, it sits with the project manager, but you also have to take everyone's input and there has to be an agreement. Data representation, interpersonal and team skills. On each project, no one can work, like you can't be isolated. It has to be a teamwork. You can't decide to take this thing all by yourself to do. You need to work as a team. You have to have that interpersonal skills to get on a project. Contents diagram, depending on the kind of project that you're on. Yeah, pictures, diagrams that you need to show to just approve the kind of project that you're about to embark on. Prototypes as well. We also have the outputs for this collect requirements. We have requirement documentation, requirement traceability matrix. This is a document that requires, like where you have the project name, you have the cost center, project description. I'll show you as we move forward. It's more like a table that needs to be used all through to track. Okay, I'll call it a tracker that can be used to track the project all through the lifespan. Also, define scope. We have the inputs where you have your project charter, project management plan, project document, enterprise environmental factors, organizational process assets, and the tools also are expert judgment, decision making, interpersonal and team skills, product analysis. The outputs are project scope statements, project documents, updates. So we come to the clause 5.4, where we have work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure is basically um it helps you organize the project. It breaks down, like when you break down a project into pieces for easy delivery. That's what work breakdown structure is. And then this inputs, we have project management plan, we have your project documents, we have your enterprise environmental factors, we have organizational process assets, and the tools, we have the expert judgments and the composition. The composition is also like work breakdown structure. Is also a document where you put the project into pieces to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do at this particular time, and when we're done, we round up and move to the next one. Output, you have the scope baseline, you have your project documents updates. To validate scope, the inputs are project management plan, you have project documents, you have verified deliverables, you have work performance data. Tools and techniques to be used are inspection. So when you validate scope, you want to be sure that you've everyone has agreed with whatever you've written down. Everyone is on the same page. There's an inspection that will take place. Then decision making, is anyone against it? Are we all in agreement? Those are the tools and techniques that will come up there. Output, we have accepted deliverables, work performance information, change request. I will explain that as we go further. Project documents updates. For the control scope, we have project management plan, project document, project work performance data, organizational process assets, and the tools and techniques to be used at data analysis. Output, we have work performance information, change requests, project management plan updates, and then project documents updates. So let's get into further explanation, right? So plan scope management. This is where you gather needs and expectations of everyone. Like I said earlier, you cannot decide that as a project manager, you isolate yourself and take decisions all by yourself. No, you interview people, create surveys, focus group with your team members and all stakeholders, observations, bring everyone together. The output here are requirements documentation. This is a document where you are requesting everyone to state clearly what they want on the project, then requirement traceability matrix. So for plan scope management, the inputs are project charter, project management plan. I've explained this earlier. This is just more like a table explaining what is to come at every point. That's the input, tools and techniques, and output. Project charter, project management plan. Under the project management plan, in it you have the quality management plan, project lifecycle description, everything, all the plans that we're going to do all through the project. This can be changed. That's why we have the change documents. We also have the development approach, enterprise environmental factors, organization process assets. This might be looking like repetition, right? But these are just steps to be followed on each stages of the project. Tools and techniques, we have expert judgment, data analysis, where you also have alternatives analysis and meetings. Output, you have your scope management plan, requirement management plan as well. So this is a diagram showing from my left hand is the input and the other side is the
Hello,
output, the
Jumoke.
documents. Yes, please.
Please, we are not seeing your screen well. Can you put it on presentation mode? It's still, this is like the normal PowerPoint. Please, can you just make it presentation
Is it
mode?
on presentation mode now?
No, no, it's not.
From my end, it is. That's what I'm wondering.
Because
From
some
my hand,
persons are complaining in the chat room already and
from
said
my
it is.
hand, it is. I don't know.
Okay, just continue. Just continue.
I can snap it to you to show you. From my hand, it is. So I'm
Just continue.
wondering what's wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe it's my network or something, but from my end, it's on presentation mode.
possible.
All right. So this is just a diagram showing the documents for each of these clauses. For develop to develop project charter, you need your project charter, which I explained earlier. That I said the project charter is a document authorizing the project and outlining its objectives. And then project management plan. Under project management plan, you have the quality management plan, project lifecycle description, and you have the development approach. Enterprise and organization, you have enterprise environmental factors, organizational process assets, which I had explained earlier. I said enterprise environmental factors are factors that you consider when planning a project. And I gave examples of building a house where you have to consider lots of people that might not even be totally involved on the project, but they can cause havoc on the project if you're not putting them into considerations. Right, so for the outputs, you have the project management plan, and documents under here are scope management plan, requirements management plan. So for collect requirements, the inputs are project charter. In almost all of these stages, you always see the project charter because that is the document that shows all of the activities that will be going on that project. So in all of these stages, you would always see the project charter and most likely the project management plan too. So under the project management plan, we have the scope management plan, requirements management plan, and stakeholders engagement plan. This stakeholders engagement plan is usually a document where you have when and where to meet with your stakeholders, the schedules that has been communicated with stakeholders, what the stakeholders want. So this is the stakeholders engagement plan. Project document, you have your assumptions log just at the states. Lessons learned register. Learned register is a register that when you're a project manager, you've done various kinds of projects. On a particular project, you must have made mistakes, you must have been corrected on certain things, you must have seen some things that you did that weren't right. You just don't leave it hanging. You need to document it so that when you're doing a similar project, you're going to bring out your lesson learned register so that you don't make the same mistake on that particular project. And one important thing to note is, as a project manager, you need to always document for everything that you're doing on a project. It needs to be documented. You just don't say it by words or just leave it hanging. Everything needs to be documented. That's why when you're managing a project, it seems like every step there's a document for it. There's always a document for, you can see we have assumption log, like really. But that's what project management is about. You don't leave anything hanging. You need to put it down. You need to document it. So you have your lessons learned register and also the stakeholder register. For business documents, you have your business case. Business case is more like you have your, it's a document that captures the reason why that project was even initiated at first. Right? This comes at the very beginning of the project, even before the plan of the project. It's a document that shows that this is why we're embarking on this project, costs that will be used on that project, everything basically. The business case carries it. Then we have agreements, we have enterprise environmental factors, we have organizational process assets. For
Hello,
tools and tech,
Jumoke.
yes, please.
I've been raising my hands up for a while now.
Please, you can speak.
Yes, I said your screen is very small, and we have a lot of complaints already in the chat room. What I'm seeing here is that your screen is yet to be on presentation mode. Can you stop
Do
sharing
you
and
want me
then
to stop
restore?
sharing and then come back to do it again?
Yes, please. Thank you.
What about now, Messi?
It's still in the same method as before. I don't know if I can
Honest.
help. I don't know if I can help you to share the screen from my end.
Okay, maybe you should help me share from my end, because from my end it's clearly on presentation
Okay.
mode. I don't know what
Okay,
is wrong.
just a moment. Everyone, please just be patient for a moment.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, I'm so sorry for that interruption. I'm about sharing it now. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, Mercy, I can see your screen.
Okay, so is it on presentation mode now? Can everyone see? Please indicate in the chat room if you can see in presentation mode. All right, okay. Jumoke, please, you can carry on.
All right, again, sorry everyone. I think it's my network. I honestly don't know what went wrong, but I'm very sorry. Apologies, please.
This is where you were, right?
Yes, please.
All right.
Or does anyone want me to go back? If you want me to go back, it's fine. But if you want me to just continue from here, it's also fine. Okay. So I said for the input for plan scope management, we have the project charter, project management plan, where we have the quality management plan, project life cycle description, development approach, enterprise environmental factors, organizational process assets. For the tools and techniques, we have expert judgment, data analysis, where we have alternatives, analysis, and meetings. Output, we have scope management plan, requirement management plan. Next slide, Mercy. So like I said earlier, that this is just a diagram showing the inputs and the outputs for plan scope management, all of the documents that will be required at every stage. For develop project charter, you have your project charter document. For project management plan, you have your quality management plan, you have your project life cycle description, you have your development approach. And for the enterprise and organization, you have your enterprise environmental factors, we have your organizational process assets. And for the outputs, you have your project management plan, which contains the scope management plan, requirements management plan as well. And then we move to the next one, collect requirements. So for collect requirements, the inputs are project charter. We have project management plan. Under your project management plan, you have the scope management plan, requirements management plan, and stakeholders engagement plan. You also have your project documents where you have your assumption log. I was explaining earlier that for project management, you need to document everything that occurs on that project. Everything that goes on that project needs to be documented. You cannot just um let things go by without documenting it. That's very important in project management. You need to have a lesson learned register, and this register is used, when you have, maybe you've worked on a certain project before and then you get on a similar project again. You must have made mistakes, or you've been corrected on certain things that should not repeat itself on another project. You're going to bring out your lessons learned register to make sure you don't repeat same mistake on that project. You also have your stakeholder register. You have your business documents where you have your business case. And I explained that business case is a document that captures the reason for initiating a project even in the first place. This is a document that is you write this document, like you come up with this document from the very beginning. Just when the project comes up, you have a business case document where it states clearly the amount that will go into the project, why the project is initiated, who are the people that is going to work on this project, and many other things that needs to be considered on the project. You also have agreements. You have enterprise environmental factors, organizational process, assets. And the tools and techniques to use on this stage is expert judgment. I'd explain expert judgment to be people that have worked, you need to work closely with people that have worked on similar project before. Their knowledge needs, the input of their knowledge is needed on your own project as well. Data gathering, brainstorming, interviews, focus groups. As a project manager, you need to do all of these things. You cannot do a project all by yourself. You cannot assume that you know all of these things. You need to have group meetings. If you need to give out questionnaires or surveys, you need to do that just to get accurate informations on that project and other people's idea that will make the project a successful one. We also have data analysis where you have document analysis, decision making. When when you want to win a contract somewhere, of course there would have been a scope. People can vote. Oh, is this what you want? If you want this, raise up your hand. If you do not want this, something of such. Multi-criteria decision analysis. You have data representation, mind mapping. For interpersonal and team skills, we have nominal group techniques. It's just everything seems like the same thing, but in project management, like I said earlier, everything has a document. There's a document for everything that goes on the project. You have to have observation, conversations need to go around the team, the stakeholders. Everyone needs to be on board on every project. Concept diagram, depending on the kind of project you're doing, you need to show people, not just say it. You need to show them that, oh, this is what we're doing. If it's building a house, you need to show them that this is the end result that we want to achieve. Oh, this is how this place will look like. You need to show it to them also as prototypes. Output, we have requirements documentation. We have requirement traceability matrix. Like I said earlier, I was going to show us what that document looks like. It's a document that is just like a tracker. It's more like a tracker showing how the project will go on from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. Next slide, please. So this is just documents that will be used like in every stage. In every stage, you have, for this we have 4.1, which is a develop project charter. You have your project charter document, project management plan. You have your requirements management plan. You have your scope management plan. You have your stakeholders engagement plan. For project documents, you have your assumption log, lesson learned register, stakeholders register. For your business document, you have your business case document where you have everything aligned, everything that you want the project to do, why the project was initiated in the first place. It's all of these things will be inside your business case document. And for the output, you have your requirements documentation. You also have your requirement traceability matrix. Next, please. Next slide, please. So for collect requirements, this is where you gather the needs and expectations of everyone on the project, your clients, your team members. In all of these things, it depends on the kind of project that you're doing as well. All of the stakeholders, your team members, your clients, everyone needs to be involved in the project. The techniques to be used are interviews, surveys, focus group observations. You need to always call a meeting. You need to listen to what everyone is saying. You need to listen to your clients. You need to understand what they really want to do on that particular project. And the output will be requirement documentation, what each person wants on that project. You also have your requirement traceability matrix, a table that tracks each requirement from start to finish. Next. So this is the requirement traceability matrix, right? This is where I'm sure most people would have seen this before. Maybe there's a building, there's a house building somewhere. You always see something like project name, cost center. Cost center is usually um, it's like the department that will be handling the cost for this particular project. You also state out your project description. These are ID codes for the particular project and every requirement that will be needed on the project. You have your business needs, opportunity, goals, and objectives. You also have your project objectives. You state it out clearly. You have your work breakdown, structure, deliverables, you state it out. Product designs, you state it out. Product test case, you know, it could be in percentage. These are maybe in the case of a software development project, you have some tests to be done. This is where you put the progress of the test. Like, this is what we've done, this is how far we've come, oh, successfully done, and all that. That's where you clearly state it. So these documents will be referred to at every stage on the project. Next. So you define scope. Here you turn all requirements into a clear description. You have a document where you clearly state it clearly. Like, no, you clearly state it in a very simple way what the scope of that project to be. Like in my organization, our scope is always stated clearly in the SLA, where the client is going to sign like an agreement. So you have a segment there where you have the scope description, where the clients will also agree that yes, this is what they want. So you state it clearly that this is what you actually want to do. And from the, to describe all of this, you have to put what the project include, and then also what the project will not include, just to make a clearer you know, understanding for your clients. And the outputs are project scope statements, right? This is also a document. The project scope statement is a document that needs to be seen by your clients, showing clearly what the scope of the project is going to be. Next. So for the defined scope, the input will be your project charter. I said earlier that project charter would always be in the input of all of these stages, because that's really that's really the document that states clearly what that project is all about, right? It's your document that is authorizing and outlining the objectives of that particular project. So at every point in time, you would always have your project charter document with you. Also, the project management plan. I'm sure we've been seeing it in all of the stages, where you have your scope management plan, project documents, enterprise environmental factors, same with organization process assets. And the tools are expert judgment, decision making, interpersonal and team skills, also product analysis. For the output, you have your project scope statement, assumption logs, requirements documentation, requirement traceability matrix. You would also be seeing requirement traceability matrix in almost all of your outputs, because, of course, it's a document that is used from the beginning of the project up until the end of the project. Also, the stakeholder register. Next. This is a diagram showing development project charter. You develop your project charter, your project management plan, where you have your scope management plan. These are documents that will be needed in this stage. You have your assumption log, you have your requirements documentation, you have your risk register. Risk register is a register where you write out risk, possible way to mitigate this risk. You're going to state clearly if you're going to accept the risk. This is a document that you need during this stage as well. Enterprise and organization, you need enterprise environmental factors, organizational process, assets. For the output, you'll be needing documents like assumption log, requirements document, your requirement traceability matrix, and also your stakeholder register. Next, please. So we move on to create work breakdown structure. So basically, work breakdown structure is just like the example that you can see on my slide is just saying like when you bake a pizza, before using your pizza, you then use your pizza cutter to cut them in pieces or in slices. You see those smaller slices that you've cut, they are called the work package, right? But the process of you putting them in slices is what we call work breakdown structure. And that's simply done just so that you can have a better way of handling the projects. Is also, it helps you manage costs. It helps you with assigning tasks. Let's use a building. Let's assume that I want to build a house. Let's start with the foundation. So you are saying, oh, let's start with the foundation first, then we move to the ceiling, or we move to this part of the other project. You've put it in bits. It also helps you with resources, like you're using the certain resources that you're using for the foundation. You can also use them for other parts, but you need them to finish one first before you can then assign them to another task. And it also helps with tracking progress, right? The outputs are scope baseline, which includes your WBS dictionary, and also your scope statement. Next. So to create a work breakdown structure, the inputs are project management plan, where you have your scope management plan, project documents, where you have your project scope statement, requirements documentation. You also have your document that has to do with the environmental factors, organizational process assets, tools and techniques. So some organization you might be like, okay, maybe they're working with Prince 2. Some organization are just doing projects, waterfall. So it depends. That's where the organization process assets comes in. Different organization with the method they use in managing projects. So the tools and techniques are expert judgment and decomposition. Output to be scope baseline, project documents updates, your assumption log, and your requirements documentation. Next. Again, these are inputs and outputs documents that will be used in this stage. You have your scope management plan, you have your project scope statement, you have your requirement documentation. For enterprise, you have your enterprise environmental factors, organizational process, assets. For the output, you have your scope baseline, which is under project management plan. You also have your project documents, and under this project documents, you have your assumption log and you have your requirements documentation. Next. So to validate scope, you need to show completed work to the client and ask if this is okay. So all of these things, you've put the scope, you're able to put all of the scopes together. You've been able to, you know, put in everyone's input. You've heard from everyone. Everyone has considered it. You've had roundtables, you've had meetings, you've analyzed the surveys that you shared, the questionnaires, and you've then come up with a very simple and clear scope, which you're going to now share with your client to say, oh, is this fine? Is this okay by you? Are we really in tune? Is this what you actually envision to what your project will look like at the end? Then, yeah, your client is officially accepting the work. That's if they've agreed. Then the input to be verified deliverables already checked for quality. You also have outputs, accepted deliverables, or change request. I'll explain change request as we move on. Next. So to validate scope, your input will be scope management plan, requirements management plan, then your scope baseline, project document, lessons learned registers, quality reports, quality of the tools that you're going to be using, on this project, requirement documentation, also your traceability matrix. You also have your verified deliverables, like everything that you said you're going to be using on the project, you're presenting it to your client to say, oh, does this work for you? Is this fine by you? Then your work performance data. Tools and techniques, you'll be doing inspection. Your clients will be inspecting all of the tools. They'll be inspecting all of the deliverables to be sure that they are of quality. Also decision making, even though you've clearly stated what the scope is, this is also a point at the validate scope where you have people say, oh no, this is not what we want, oh, this is not what we really think it is. Okay, let's tweet it this way, let's change this, let's do that. So you have voting in this category. Outputs, accepted deliverables, work performance information, change request. So change request is at this point, you're not saying that everything that you said in the scope is something you cannot change. You can't change it. That's why you have a change request register, where you can now say, okay, we this was what was initially said to be done, or what was agreed upon, but we're changing it to this. It needs to be done so that it doesn't seem like it's the project manager that changed it. It needs to also be signed off to say we all agreed that this change would be made. You also have a project document updates. That's your lesson learned register, requirements, your requirements documentation, then your traceability matrix. Again, you'll be seeing more of your traceability matrix because, like I said, it runs all through the project. This is a diagram showing the inputs and the outputs, the documents that will be used at this stage. And then you have your scope management plan document, you have your requirement management plan, you have your scope baseline. For direct and managed project execution, you have your work performance data. Control quality, you have your verified deliverables. For project documents, you have your lesson learned register, quality reports, you have your requirements documentation, you also have your traceability matrix. And for the output, you have your acceptable deliverables, your change request document, you have your performance work performance information. And for your project documents, you have your lesson learned register, you have your requirements documentation, and your traceability matrix again. Next. So to control scope, this is the point where you now monitor and manage changes on the scope document. So this is to prevent you doing extra work without approval. This is where you do not want to take decisions all by yourself. Then at the end of the project, blames are on you as a project manager that it was not well communicated, and then you take all the blames. At this point, when you're controlling scope, you need to be very sure that you've not taken decision all by yourself. You've put everyone involved on that project in the know, right? And tools, variance analysis, checking what changed and why. This is where you need your change register. Keeps your project from going off track or over budget. Budget is also one thing that should be looked into. And then that's why when you're considering costs, you should always know that things might change. That's where you put in your environmental documents, where you know that, oh, this is what the market says this week, but this project has not started. Because really, in the scope phase, you've not started the project. You're just trying to be sure what the clients want on the project before proceeding on the project in itself. Next. So in this stage, the input, you have your scope management plan, you have your requirements management plan, you have your change plan, you have your configuration management plan, scope baseline, performance measurement baseline. For the project document, you have your lesson learned register, requirements documentation. You also have your traceability matrix, work performance data, organizational process assets. And for the tools and techniques, you have variance analysis, trend analysis, under data analysis. For the output, you have work performance information, change requests, project management plan updates. That's your scope management plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, cost baseline, performance measurement baseline. And for your project document updates, you have your lessons learned register, requirements documentation, and your traceability requirements traceability matrix. Next. So in this diagram, we can see each document that are needed for this phase. So you have the scope management plan, which is under project management plan. You have your change management plan, you have your measurement baseline. For project documents, you have your lessons learned, you have your requirement traceability matrix. For direct and managed project work, you have your work performance data, and you also have your organization process assets under enterprise and organization. And for the outputs, you have your monitor and control project work, you have your work performance information, you have your change request under perform integrated change control. Under project management plan, you have your scope management plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, cost baseline, performance measurement baseline. And for the project document, you have your lesson learned register, requirements documentation, and requirement traceability matrix. Next. So why should project scope management matters? Why does it matter? It meets your stakeholders' expectations. So if you don't have a scope, you're just going to get on the project and you get on doing what your stakeholders will not approve. And that's going to be a loss, right? You need to get everyone to agree with, even if you have it's very okay for you as a project manager to say, oh, I feel like this will be fine, but you need to make other people involved on the project to buy your idea and see reasons with you why that can work on that project. Also, it helps you stay on schedule and within budget. You don't want to overspend, you don't want to go beyond your client's budget. So having a scope helps you, you know, plan all of these things right. It also helps you avoid doing unnecessary work. It helps you stay focused on exactly what should be done. Also, it helps you deliver exactly what was promised, because at the end of everything, when you've put all of these things together, your clients are going to say yes, that this works perfectly. I remember in my organization there was a scope that was written and it was approved by the client, and we've gotten midway the project and the client was saying, oh, it wasn't even midway, it was after the project, and the client was saying, oh no, this I didn't say this, and we had to go and bring out the SLA where the scope is. And I'm like, can you see clearly that you signed it and you read it, you approved it? That's why that document is important. So yeah, all of these things helps you to really manage the project and gives you a successful project at the end of everything. Yeah. Next. Okay, questions. Anyone has questions, answers, contributions too is fine. Again, I'm sorry for the old network issues. Please pardon me.
That's fine. Please, if you have a question, feel free to ask. We have just few minutes to do that. Okay, feel free to ask a question. Okay, I think we do not have a question. Okay. Okay, there is a question. The question says, how do we get the note? Because please, you have it all on the group as usual. I was thinking it's a question pertaining to today's study. We usually share the training slides. Okay, so it's nothing to worry about. If you are on the group, be rest assured you will have the slides. So that is it. Thank you so much, Jumoke. Please, can we appreciate our trainer for today? All of our trainers, please, can we appreciate them one after the other? I know you've already done that. Please keep your appreciation coming. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jumoke, for an excellent delivery. It was a nice time having everyone on the call. All right, so I've seen some questions saying which group. I think that most of you have not registered for this course, and that is actually not good. It means probably you got this link somewhere and you decided to join and you are welcome, but then you have to register for the course. So once you register, a link will be sent to your mail, which you will join the Telegram group, and that is the general group. Also, okay, before I conclude my talking, Damola, if you're on the call, please share the feedback form. Please, we implore that you fill up the feedback. Please fill it up, and once you are done, you can help us write done. Please, we need this in order for us to be able to improve, okay, in our subsequent deliveries. The link is on the chat room. So I'll continue. So like I said, if you're on the call and you have not registered, you are actually shortchanging yourself. So please do well to register for the course. Damola, please, we need the registration link in the chat room. We need the registration link for those who have not registered. And like I also said, there is a paid group for those who have paid for this course. In subsequent time, we will stop people who have not paid from joining the call. And then the link is the class link will not be made public in few weeks' time. Okay, so if you're on the call and you are yet to make your registration fee of 10,000 Nigerian Naira, please go ahead to do so. You can reach out to us on WhatsApp, or you can call us on the number that will be sent to the group shortly, please, for further clarity. All right. So thank you so much. We need the registration link for this program, Damola. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. I think that is basically all. And I'm going to repeat myself concerning the ISO, because in every of the classes, you will write an assessment per course that you have studied. All right. So we had 4 sessions today. We are going to be doing assessment on all the 4 sessions. And then for the ISO, for some of you that are having difficulty, you have to create an account with that site first before you can now go ahead to do the assessment. And if you do not score up to 70% in the exams, you will not be getting the certificate for that very ISO. So please ensure that you score the required points. And they have made it so easy that if you fail the first one, you can do the second and the third time. And once you are done the third time, you will not be able to do the course, that very exams again. So please make sure you read all the modules and then follow it up to the letters before you start your exams. The exams is timed. It is not running too fast, so you can still finish up your exams before the stipulated time. So I'm taking my time to explain this so it will not be difficult for those who are just joining us, or for those who will just be starting their assessment for that ISO today. So please do well to adhere to all of this instruction. And if you still need further clarity, the number to reach out to is on the chat room. Do we have to make another payment? No, 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 no. Your 10,000 Naira covers for everything. Okay? You don't have to make extra payment. For that certificate is free. It's actually free. So once you are done with that, you download your certificate. And remember to send it to the mail that was sent to your group. In that way, we will be able to ascertain that you have done your assessment on that very ISO. But if you do not send it to us, there is no way that can be recorded in your transcript. So please follow the instruction. And if you still need further clarity, you can reach out to that number. And but if you reach out later today, you might not get responses because we are already done for today. But all your responses will be coming in from next week. I think I'm done. Please, have you fill up the feedback form before you exit the call? Please, please, please. We need your feedbacks. Covenant Geoffrey, you are an NID student. You need to register for this course, and it's free for you people. So please register for it. You can chat me later. I'm going to send you the registration link. Thank you so much for your feedbacks. Oh, Damola, please, we need the registration link for this course. Someone is asking for it. A moment, let me get it for you, please. Before we call it a day. Okay, moment, I'm getting it now. All right, so the registration link is on the group, is on the chat room already. You don't need to know about our NID students. Michael, our NID students are those who are doing National Innovation Diploma. So they have been our students for a very long time now. So you don't have to worry about that, okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for standing by from 9:30 up till now. I really enjoyed your presence. And from here, I would say follow us on all of our social media handles. Talk about Transformation College, please. Mention and like our pages on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Engage on our post. And we know that as you are doing this, we will say a very big thank you to you. Thank you once again. And from here, I would say have a very beautiful weekend. We will meet again next week. And all the assessments and the materials you need is going to be sent to the group upper week or next week. Thank you very much and have a wonderful one.